Did the combine drop Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, or Mai Lemon? Now let's go in reverse order. Let's talk about because you mentioned Carnell Tate a little bit. Let's start off with Jordan Tyson. He didn't run because he was injured, but I guess we found out that he's pretty strong. According to this, 26 reps. These is real reps. You bouncing a little bit. So we found out that he's kind of strong. Do you have a problem? Then the thing with Jordan Tyson is the simple fact that he's injured. He couldn't really run and do what he needed to do. Does the injuries and does anything that you thought that he should have did at the combine, did that change your thought process? And first and foremost, where did you have his production and where did you have Jordan Tyson as a player anyway?
Well, I'm Andrew Berry. I'm talking to our departments. We get to Jordan Tyson. Listen, dynamic player. I mean, makes explosive plays down the field. Take him off the board. He's not even on my board. Availability creates equity. Like, we're talking about the number 6 pick in the draft for a guy that wasn't available during the season, ain't available for the combine, probably won't be available. I mean, come on, this is not a one-year thing. This is throughout. A lot of people forget this. Like, he was at Colorado when Prime them got there. And, decided to pack it up and go to ASU, when Prime said he bringing in Louis luggage. So, I'm a fan of Jordan Tyson when he's available. But as far as the Browns, we can't take that risk. Risk way too high in this situation for me. So he's off our board.
I'll also have to say he did tear his ACL, did tear his MCL. I think he tore his PCL as well. He's had a hamstring injury. That is scary. When you're talking about the one thing about Jordan Tyson is when you are going to invest at that position at the top of the draft, you got to be available, dog. We can't have you nursing a hamstring every week.
And it's on us if we bring you in knowing that that's on your resume. It's on us. And I can't take that risk. I mean, my quarterbacks right now, no matter how good I think Shedeur or no matter how much I talk myself into believing that Deshaun Watson can reinvent himself like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, I can't risk putting that guy in my receiving room with that kind of asset.
And you're expecting, because what I want to do is I want a guy that I know I can elevate and say,
and I've got a guy that I think is better that I think we can get at 39.
Jerry Jeudy, I want him to be elevated. I want to get a guy where you be like, oh, listen, well, if Jerry Jeudy's your second best receiver, I mean, we ready to roll, right? Let's get to this guy. Now he didn't run in the 40. He didn't run a 40. I think he was going to run a 4.5 or 4.6 anyway.
Well, hey, listen, he'd have did backflips if he ran 4.5.
Yeah, but I know he ain't. Where's my guy? My guy been in the chat. He said, Mai Lemon, he gonna run. I said, He said 4. Didn't you say 4.3? I said, you done lost your mind. The thing about him is it wasn't the running that got him. Some people say it's the interviews. Let's take a look at his personality a little bit.
A word that rhymes with orange. And what is that word and what does it mean?
It's a tough one. Orange.
What does that mean?
What you think?
Like a boring orange.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you were thinking? Yeah. Okay, all right, we're on the same wavelength. Yeah, it makes sense.
He from the West Side. He West Coast all day. Mai Lemon, they won't tell us what he said in the interview, but interviews are subjective. Your thoughts on Mai Lemon? What did you think before? What did you think after? And what do you think coming out of the combine?
Well, I don't get caught up in all that because I don't really care about the idiosyncrasies that guys have from a personality standpoint.
And
I care about what happened when, I care what happened when that whistle blow and they say, let's play. I think Mai Lemon is a really, really good player. I mean, my comp for him is Armand St. Brown. Mm-hmm. But I just think he's a luxury addition to your offense. I don't think he's a guy that I could use a top 10 pick on because he's not a number 1. I mean, we got to be in a receiver-friendly system with a really good quarterback. Yeah, we could put him inside. And I think that's a problem because I think in reality, Judy's a slot guy. And I like Isaiah Bond a lot, but I think Isaiah Bond's kind of that down-the-field threat. So we don't got the luxury in Cleveland to be in the Mai Lemon business. We're going to wish him the best, but he's not a guy that I would be considering taking. But he is a baller. And in the right situation, he's going to have a major impact. Because when that whistle blow, he's the toughness that comes off of that interview, he plays with that toughness. He's a tough kid.
He don't. And by the way, he plays bigger, than his size. He'll come down with a lot of stuff over the middle. He just seems like a dude. Me and Tyvis talked about. I said, if he go to the Rams or San Francisco, you can be like, how did we pass on him? How did you pass on this dude? Like, because he going to be in the right spot where the right system where they going to work him inside, move him around. He might even get some touches in the backfield or something. They'll figure out a way, but we don't got that.
But because he's good there doesn't mean he would be good here.
Yeah, that's true. Like there's a lot of people in the league.
And if I was Mai Lemon, I wouldn't run it pro day.
No, he did wise. He did
if I was an agent, my thing would be, listen, our film speak for itself. Why run if we know we're not gonna run, especially with all these gazelles now that go to these track coaches and everybody running sub 4.4. You running 4.45 now, and they be like, oh, he's slow.
I told my dad I said, when has 4.4 been slow?
Right.
I said, this is crazy, bro. You got they don't even cheer for you unless you're running 4.3. Like, they don't even cheer for you.
And I think Buckeye is more in that 4.5 range because his explosiveness comes from his change of direction, his first 10 acceleration, his toughness, he makes a lot of contested catches. Like, that's what makes him good. You can see he don't got great top end speed when you watch the tape.
Oh man, I got it. You being kind, OG. He might be a 4.6. If this guy ran a 4.5, let's talk about if he ran a 4.5, he might be 4.61. Speaking of the death, listen, I don't know how his agent, they spending it. The agent is spending it right now. I don't understand how now we questioning the electronics, bro. Electric is electric. Like, let's be clear. They say, we got the ham times. Well, let's see what it is.
A lot of people are calling Carnell Tate slow because he ran a 4.5 340 at the combine. Some people seem to think that this should hurt his draft stock, or they seem to think that it is going to hurt his draft stock. A 4.5 340 is not a slow 40-yard dash, and it is not the same thing as game speed. JSN did not test his 40 at the combine, ran a 4.48 at his pro day, and he was legitimately the best wide receiver in the NFL last year, unguardable down the field. Puka Nacua ran a 4.55 40 at his pro day, and now he's one of the 2 best receivers in the NFL. Amon-Ra St. Brown ran a 4.51 40-yard dash at his pro day, and look at where he is now. Mike Evans ran a 4.5 340 at his combine and has been dominating DBs for the last decade. The notion that you have to run a 4.4 or lower to be a great NFL wide receiver is insane. Look at the 30 fastest wide receiver combine times since 2000. They're all a bunch of receivers who have not done that much in the NFL. Carnell Tate is going to be great in the NFL because he has the ability to win down the field and catch everything. Being a good wide receiver has a lot more to do with running routes, catching passes, and understanding an offense than it has to do with running the fastest 40-yard dash ever in glorified underwear.
Now listen, he said a lot right there. What are your thoughts? Is he going to, does the 40 hurt him? Or do you believe that when you saw him on tape that he plays at the speed you thought he would play?
I think that time surprised people that just are casuals, even people that are in the business that are just casuals. Like I want to differentiate my opinions from some of my peers. It take a lot of time to watch all these guys. It take a lot of time to go back to the year before and pull up games and find stuff. Like, this isn't something that is easy to do. So when I give my opinion, man, I've watched all of it. And he plays like what he ran. Like, his advantages is he's super smart, has a super high football IQ. He's very polished, elite route runner, and he does a good job at times of making contested catches. But there are times when them hands look a little shaky with Carnell. And there are times where, even though he's a bigger receiver, he don't play the most physical. So I think Carnell Tate's a good receiver, but, you know, I'm looking at this Ohio State narrative in the rearview mirror, and it's looking a little cloudy. Like, what Garrett Wilson do last year? What Chris Olave did last year? Emeka Buka started off on fire like the first 2-3 weeks. What he did the rest of the year? Where Marvin Harrison Jr. at? Like, I was just saying now, you know, not to say JSN, well, he carrying the whole company by himself right now.
Terry McLaurin was cooking for years. He a little older. Terry McLaurin a little older. He a little older.
What Terry did last year too, all of Washington, they got everybody fired. Cliff Kingsbury, the whole group.
Evans, he on y'all's head. He on y'all's, he on the Buckeye's head right now.
Hey, make sure you tell, what is it, Tavis?
Your time is, hey, listen,
Your time is cut time. That narrative, they're looking a little shaky in the rearview mirror now. So them guys got to have some bounce back years. Listen, Carnell Tate's not going to ever be a bust. He's going to be a solid receiver. The question is, when you start talking about first half of the first round, I mean, you got to be a difference maker to me. You got to be a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins type. And I know Nico wasn't drafted, in the top half of the first round, but I'm saying that to me is the projection, that you got to be on in order for me to go receiver. Because, I view receiver like running back in a lot of ways. A good evaluator, I'm going to give you the guy y'all should take at 39, and you're going to thank me later. A good evaluator can find quality starting wide receivers in the second and third round.
So who you listen? All right, so we didn't probably cover them. Let's go over them. Is it Bell from Louisville?
Now, let me just do this.
Is it Denzel Boston?
I'm Andrew Berry, right?
All right, go ahead.
So we got 10 picks in this draft.
Okay. What you doing?
Three in the top 39.
Okay. At
number 6, I'm taking Monroe Freeland, the offensive tackle from Georgia, and here's why.
Good combine,
when you look at, this is why I wish I was on UCS every week, because I had him as my number 1 O-lineman before the combine, because everything he did at the combine you see on tape. Big guy, all the measurable, prototype measurable, but he moves, changes direction, very rarely on the ground. The only thing he doesn't showcase on a consistent level is elite point of attack power. But when I looked it up, it was one thing that made me take him at 6. He's only 21.
Hold on. Andrew Berry loves young players where they're like, he's 21, can go into it. I can't hate on that.
Because here's my thing. The technique looks great. The level of competition is elite. He only started 1 year at Georgia, but that's because in last year's draft, Georgia had 3 O-linemen taken in the top 3 rounds. So he was behind some guys. He still played a lot, but he wasn't a full-time starter. And the one thing that I don't see, he going to grow into that. Do you know how much more physically developed you are at 24, 25 than you are at 21?
Yeah.
So if I got a guy that's the prototype from a size, length standpoint, he's got the athleticism we're looking for. He plays with a nasty edge. He's going against elite competition. And the only thing I don't see is point of contact power. He gonna grow into that. So I'm going Freeland at 6.
Okay.
Let's move to our second pick.
First, I don't have a problem with that. I don't got a problem with that. I like it. Go ahead.
Let's move to our second pick at 24. See, sometimes you be worried about getting the backyard and the kitchen and the master bedroom, all right at the same time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure the kitchen is elite. We'll get to the backyard and the master bed at some point. I'm going O-line again.
Okay.
And I'm going to go either Caden Proctor or one of the guys in that group, and I'm going to add 2 big, young, athletic, gifted offensive linemen to that room. Now, maybe it's not Proctor. It would have to be what he looks like. I like the kid from Arizona State. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. I like the Penn State dude. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. I don't think he'll be there at 24.
Neither.
Caden Proctor probably will. Now, what if we let Howard stay outside? We put Freeland at the other tackle, pump Caden inside. So that way Caden's weight ain't as big of an issue at guard as it can be at tackle. Because his only thing to me is his weight fluctuates.
Yeah.
But we bump him inside. Now, guess what? What was a glaring deficiency for us, all of a sudden, okay, we starting to get this thing fixed. We're going to get some more experience on that O-line in free agency to create some competition and some depth. And now, guess what? We got right. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I know we got to get weapons. So at 39, to me, this is the guy nobody's talking about. Chris Brazzell II from Tennessee. The one thing the Browns don't have is length, athleticism, and speed at receiver. Isaiah Bond, smaller guy. Jerry Jeudy, more of a thin-bodied guy. Ran sub 4.4 at the combine, but he's 6'4", 200 and I think 5-6 pounds or something. Watch him make contested catches. When you go and rewatch Brazzell, watch how on those high-level difficulty balls down the field and he's contorting his body, he doesn't end up on the ground. Like, that ain't stuff you can teach. Like, that's genes. Like, some guys got that, some guys don't. He gets downgraded because he's at Tennessee, and that system hasn't projected. But remember, he's at Tulane first, and we're balling at Tulane. He was on the Tulane team that beat SC in the Cotton Bowl. So this is a guy that's played in a different system. I'm just telling you, I take him at 39, and then the other receiver that will be on my board that everybody's down on now because he ran slow at the combine too is Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. Another 6'4" guy who makes a bunch of contested catches, not a blazer, but look at the film. He get behind people when they put the helmets and shoulder pads on. He high points the ball in contest. Like that to me would elevate our offense to a level that we haven't seen from an overall talent standpoint in a long time. Because we're getting Quinshawn back from injury. We like the trio of backs we got to go with that. We got Fannin at tight end. Like we can add a second tight end, in free agency. But that's what I would do. I would go Freeland at 6, Caden Proctor at 24, Chris Brazel. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Chris Brazel at 39. And then at 70, if Malachi Fields is there from Notre Dame, I'd love to pick him up, which is our 3rd-round pick. And based on what he ran at the combine, I can see him being available.
Now, we did have Chris Brazel. We had him in our wide receiver bracket. We had him going against Jeremy Bernard. You take a look, Jeremy. I like Jeremy Bernard too. I think he can be a player. But Chris Brazel was in our top 10 in terms of the receivers. Now, I think Chris Brazel went to the combine and ran faster than I thought people thought he would run. The problem with him is, like you mentioned,
the Tennessee offense.
The Tennessee offense with the wide splits. You got guys who came out of there, and who was the guy that went to the Giants? I liked him over
Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt, and then you had Cedric Tillman. And Cedric Tillman, big body receiver. Jalen Hyatt was a flyer, and they was out here cooking. And then they got to the league and not so much. Do you think he will get kind of downgraded and people might not give him opportunity to look based on what the routes and what the offense looks like? What I think is, who is it? Is Heupel the quarterback?
Yeah, he's a head coach.
He's the head coach. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's why he'll be there at 39.
Yeah,
when I look at the body control he has and the balance, it's better than Hyatt. It's better than Tillman. Like, he does other things after the catch. I don't think either one of those guys did. And you look at the Tulane film, too. Even when he was a younger player, like, you see more of the route tree. Like, there's some routes that he runs, some corner comeback type stuff, if you really dig into the Tennessee tape. And for a guy that's 6'4" to go run sub 4.4 and then show you that he plays fast and catches contested catches and has great balance, like, that's what we need. If I'm Andrew Berry and I'm the GM of the Browns.
Let me get. I want to speak to this because I do. When you talk about the double lineman, there's a thing where you look at it, and if you want to go ahead and go double lineman there, my brother, he's an offensive line. He went to OU. He been screaming the double lineman for like 2-3 months. He's like, nah, get you 2 big fellas and go ahead and get the whole shop together. And then he's like, at least you can say, I got Junkins, I can run the ball, we can run some play action off that and get some things going. Proctor, I do believe Proctor is very intriguing. The problem with him is he up around 360. We got a guy named DeJuan Jones, we've been working with his weight as well. But Proctor, when you talk about his athleticism, it's there. And I do think he's another guy who works better at guard. Do you think he'll be available at 24? Or will somebody overdraft him?
No, I think he'll be available. And if he's not, the other guys I like. I think the guy from Clemson, what's his name? Drawing a blank on his name, the right tackle at Clemson. I think he can move inside. Like, there are multiple guys that I could take at 24, but I just think Proctor will be available. And he was the number 1 player in football coming out of high school in Iowa.
Right.
He probably should have went to Iowa. They got a better development program there. I don't know why he went to Alabama. I know he went back for a second, but I like Caden. And I think moving Caden to guard gives you a level of athleticism, size, speed, power on that side with Freeland that the Browns haven't seen in a long time.
I like Dunker too. I like him. He's a guard. He doesn't have the athleticism they got, but coming from Iowa, I like what he's able to do. But I wouldn't be mad at it. I think Shaun, I think there's the Browns are in a position, especially what they do in free agency, depending on what they look at a receiver, if they make another trade. I actually do think, and we'll get you out of here on this, I do think that right now they have the ability to stay at 6 and take somebody. They could take a defensive player. They could take a lineman. They could trade back. At this point, do you believe that they're wide open for business in terms of what they could do in the first round?
Here's the perfect scenario for Cleveland. Jeremiah Love is available at 6. And Kansas City's worried that New Orleans is going to take Jeremiah Love, and they want Jeremiah Love. And Kansas City's willing to come up to 6 and give us another 1 next year or an extra 2 this year, and we only got to go down 2 spots or 3 spots to 9. And so now I think we can still get Monroe Freeland, and we added another asset.
That
to me, that's either that or somebody's willing to sell the whole farm for Ty Simpson. They listening to Todd McShay, and McShay talked to him into wanting Ty Simpson.
Really quickly, we can't get you out of there. We did a whole blog. We didn't even talk about Shedeur Sanders. I told people I think Shedeur has a good opportunity with Todd Monken. I think that he probably has the edge to be the starting quarterback week one. Your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders and the competition that it may look like they're going to have between him and Deshaun Watson? What's your thoughts on that? And what do you think? What do you think Todd Monken does going into this thing?
I know Todd personally. Todd a good dude. Like I for the qualifiers that y'all put on becoming the head coach of Cleveland, which in hindsight looks crazy. Like, you got to keep Jim Schwartz, but obviously they didn't tell Jim Schwartz. So when they didn't make Jim Schwartz the coach, Todd Monken is a heck of a fallback. Todd's a great guy. And here's the thing. Take your emotion out of Shedeur for a second. What more could you ask as a fifth-round draft pick at quarterback than to have a new coach coming in that said we're going to have an open competition, a fair competition between you, and if you don't think you better than this version of Deshaun Watson, shame on you. All you got to do, your only obstacle to becoming a starting quarterback, there's only 32 of these companies in the world, is you. If you show up every day and play at the level that you're capable of and prepare at the level that you're learning how to prepare at, and you ingratiate yourself with Coach Monken and that staff, that's all you can ask.
He done did it. Sean, let me get this. The heavy lifting is over. Like you had to, first of all, you had to move from 4th to 1. They had to trade 2 people. Dylan got hurt. Then the coach got moved on. Then they brought another dude who actually came from a team that actually said, hey, man, we was trying to draft you.
Right.
What else did you – right now, if you Shedeur Sanders, he bought him a horse head for Christmas, whatever he bought for his birthday. If you Shedeur Sanders, bro, the heavy lifting is over. You just got to come in. I don't care who they would bring in. My main mentality is it's a wrap. It's Dunsky. You know what I had to do to get here? I think this is the best case scenario.
And the one thing I know about Monken, he's fair. He's disciplined, and he's going to hold you accountable, but he's fair. And that's all you can ask him. I think what happened to Shedeur last year is going to make him turn into the player he's capable of becoming. Like, he saw what it's like to not be the guy, to not have the opportunity. So when that opportunity is taken away from you and you get a chance to get it back, man, listen, you get it now. Ain't nothing else matter. We ain't worried about nothing else but putting this work in. Because, boy, whenever this decision made, I ain't had no regrets.
And you know what's so crazy, Sean? You said some people gave you grief for it. You was like, man, listen, just wait till you get it before you do some of your talk. Here's the crazy thing about I ain't seen Shedeur. I ain't heard him. The only people that have been talking about him is his teammates. And besides that, we ain't seen him nowhere. I mean, he been he locked in with that playbook. Like, the first thing you need is to get that playbook, and then from there we ready to cook.
Hey, quick, load of drip hit the what's that called? The special chat, what that is called?
Yeah, you hit super chat. Big King, you aren't worried about having that many rookies starting on the offensive line. Also, what receiver types does Shedeur need to be successful? Speed, explosive, big target, just jump ball guy, or just an overall good receiver?
Good question, Lord of the Drip OG. That's a lot to say. You got to figure out how to shorten that. Here's why I love it. All of them babies, too. So now you get a new system. So you're going to have Shedeur, Cannon, Isaiah Bond, Quinshawn Judkins, all second-year guys, first year in the system. You put them 2 rookie linemen there with them, talented, big, athletic. And now, 2 years from now, you got a group of guys that's all probably going to be around that 23 to 25-year-old range. And if Monken is who I think Monken is, now you're cooking with gas. What kind of receiver does it lead? This is why I love Chris Brazzell. Explosive, long, top-end speed. That's what Cleveland doesn't have. They've got a chain mover in Fannin. They've got a guy that can take the top off the defense in Isaiah Bond. Like Jerry Jeudy. That contract is up after this next year, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
So when you generally get the best version of them vets.
Yeah, you already know. You already know. With a new coach, too?
Right. So now you put a long 6'4" guy over there that's got 4.4 speed, that got great hands, make contested catches. Now we're starting to talk about, okay, we got a good core together. Now we got to come put the work in, but, I think the future would be really bright. And shout out to Shedeur. And I don't know exactly what happened, but I always like to drop little nuggets for the young guys that are coming after Shedeur, just like Shedeur is a young guy came after me. Mm-hmm. This is why during the draft process, you have to be the best version of yourself with everyone. Because remember, a report came out, and I don't know if it was true, false, or whatever, but it said that Shedeur or the Sanders family or his management told the Ravens they didn't want to go to Baltimore because he didn't want to back up Lamar Jackson. And see, what you can't ever know is that you're going to end up in Cleveland, and that guy going to get fired, and now Monken going to be your head coach.
How did you even that's you can't even make that up. Like, that's crazy. And Todd Monken wasn't even the name
on the radar. He wasn't even a potential. Harbaugh hadn't gotten fired. So that's just why, to you young guys, that's why you got to approach this process like a real businessman, because you never know who you're going to impress during the process that could ultimately end up being the person in your corner when you aren't there that you need to have a real chance to achieve your dream. So there's a lesson to be learned in that too.
Amen. James Cosby said explosiveness is mandatory. Talk to him. That's the thing. We got to have that. Like, that's one thing we gonna have. And for
those listening, go check out Chris Brazel.
We have to revisit now. We're gonna revisit. We gotta revisit. We gotta revisit that.
Here's what I want you to focus on too, because there's a lot of guys that run fast. Watch his body control. Watch on those contested catches how a lot of times he's not on the ground. He comes through it on his feet. Watch at the point of contact with the ball in his hands, how crisp and clean those catches are. Like, the one thing about Tate, like, Tate makes some catches, but some of them be double catch. Some be a little, not to knock Carnell Tate, because I think he's a really good player, but I would be comfortable saying I think Chris Brazel will be a better pro than Carnell Tate. Like, I feel like I'm getting a steal at 39.
David Walker says a good option is to trade 6 to the Cowboys for 12 and 20 to get top-tier talent in the first round and get wide receivers in the second and third round. Now, look, listen, it is a deeper wide receiver draft than you would say.
Yeah, you said Jeremy Bernard's there. Like, there's some guys that I think will be good wide receivers. I just don't. We're talking first round, top half of the first round, and I'm not trading out of the top 10. I think that high of Monroe Freeland.
James Cosby says, I'm giving you another super chat since I can't spell explosiveness. Flag on the play. We appreciate you, James. Man, we appreciate you, my guy. We're going to have you back on again. We got to talk to him. Make sure you're checking out Shaun King. You know, you everywhere now. So we got to get you back on UCSS. But if they don't got you back, we got to pull it up right here and do it. The combine is over. We're going to be doing a lot of different scenarios. So we appreciate it.
Make sure when you talk to Tyvis, and I need you to do it on air, tell him, boy, that Ohio State wide receiver thing, boy, woo, looking a little funky in the rearview mirror now.
Hey, matter of fact, Rosie gonna clip this as a short. She gonna have a short. This Tyvis, he putting you in the short. He putting you in the summer jam screen right now, man.
Thank God for JSN.
With that being said, you never know what G. Bush might show on radio, television, internet, but you want the fresh cut on sports. I keep the Clippers, and as always, go Browns.